this guy we're dealing with the chapter on the tuning of the soul. And we continued here, page 169, on Philo, in the treatise called Deus, Immutabilis. Polite Philo makes an even more elaborately extended use of this notion. Quote, "Wonderful indeed is the soul of the sage, how he sets it like a lyre to a harmony, musicalis, not with a scale of notes high and low, but with the knowledge of moral opposites and the practice of such of them as are better. How he does not strain it to excessive heights, nor yet relax it and weaken the concord of virtues and things naturally beautiful, but keeps it ever at an equal tension. Such a soul is the most perfect instrument, fashioned by nature, the pattern of those who are the work of our hands. And if it be well adjusted, it will produce a symphony, the most beautiful in the world, one which has its consummation not in the cadences and tones of melodious sound, but in the consistencies of our life's actions." Mm-hmm. Do you think of our life's actions are consistent? It's harmonious. Mm-hmm.
If they're consistently good, I mean.
Later on, among the patristic writers, we find that the soul instrument comparison is often treated slightly differently. Thus, John Chrysostom, can you pronounce it?
It's chrysostomos.
Chrysostomos, on prayer and on psalmistry, in particular urges, quote, "Even though the meaning of the words be unknown to you, teach your mouth to utter them meanwhile, for the tongue is made holy by the words which they are uttered with a ready and eager mind. Nor will anyone in such singing be blamed if he be weakened by old age or young, or have a harsh voice, or no knowledge at all of numbers. What is here sought is for a sober mind, an awakened intelligence, a contrite heart, sound reason, and clear conscience. If having these you have entered into God's sacred choir, you may stand beside David himself." So if you get like this, you get to be with me, David himself.
Yeah, you have something to learn from there. You see,
I am David.
What comes out of the mouth?
I am David.
It should be good.
Here there is no need for the katara, or for stretched strings, or for the plectrum, or for art, or for any instrument. But if you like, you may yourself become a guitar, a sakatara, mortifying the members of the flesh and making a full harmony of mind and body. How do you make a full harmony of mind and body? Well, we're talking about the
extremes.
The meditation.
The early Christians, you know. Mortifying the body. You don't have to mortify the body.
For when the flesh no longer lust, you can't lust against the spirit, but has submitted to these orders and has been led at length into the best and most admirable path, then you will create a spiritual melody. You could create a melody. They said the soul is harmony. Here there is no need for place or for season. In all places and all seasons you may sing with the mind. You may also sing without voice, the mind resounding inwardly. For we sing not to men, but to God. We can hear our hearts and enter into the silences of our minds. Are we quoting from John? We are on prayer, actually. He says you can do this with your mind. Here, the harmony of the whole being is simplified into one of accord between body and soul. It is the notion of the spiritual music of prayer. We're talking about the music theory behind spiritual music of prayer, of personal devotion. Now we have prayer and devotion, as opposed to the public ceremony requiring due place and season. That seems more than the instrumental allegory to affect later traditions, but perhaps we can find traces of it in the 1580s. As in Stephen Batman's commentary on Bartholomachus Anglica's medieval encyclopedia De Proprietatibus Renum, commenting on the verse of the Apostle of James. Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Batman maintains that hereby the godly are allowed to sing, whose instruments are their bodies, and whose stops and strings are good intents upon. Unto the bodies belong the four elements, the four contemplation, the five senses. If any of these abound and diminish, the concord of the bodies is altered. Also the mind is turned to disorder, no less by crabbed imagination. What's crabbed imagination? Crabby. In this case, however, it is the good intentions that cause the whole body to resound in proper hymning, although Batman adds a couple of sentences to include in his accord some of the received doctrine of musica, humana. Some uses of the figure, on the other hand, stress not the concordative elements of the soul or the whole person, but rather turn immediately to the macrocosmic order and the individual's place in it, a question which is implied in other treatments but also handled separately. Jacob Boehme speaks of the soul at one point as, quote, a tuned instrument of the harmony of God, a concert piece in God's kingdom of joy, which God's Spirit would play. Many other such instances of the instrument figure and its use in formal and informal pre-Cartesian moral psychology has been noted elsewhere. It has been the intention of this brief account not only to show some of the ways in which the tuning of the soul instrument was traditionally associated not merely with the general state of health, propriety, and even grace, but specifically with the proper composition of all faculties of body and soul. So,
And he's working on
that the individual might pray and commune with the macrocosmic harmony. Our next section is the music of meditation. We are ending on page 272. We had completed a section on how to retune your soul. Tuning with the stimum and the accord and the temper. From the book, The Untuning of the Sky.